In tonight's news edition, His Majesty stresses the importance of promoting cooperation between Jordan's Atomic Energy Commission and the Russian corporation that will build and operate Jordan's first nuclear power plant. Houthi militia forces backed by allied army units seize an airbase and appear close to capturing the southern port of Aden from defenders loyal to President Abd Rabbo Mansour Hadi. And investigators retrieve cockpit voice recordings from one of the black boxes of the German Airbus plane that smashed into the Alps, killing everyone on board. Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty the King stressed the importance of promoting cooperation between Jordan's Atomic Energy Commission and the Russian corporation, which resulted yesterday in the signing of an intergovernmental agreement with Russia to build and operate the first nuclear power plant. At a meeting with head of Russia's state-run corporation, Rosatom, Sergei Kirienko, the king highlighted the importance of benefiting from the Russian experience in the nuclear energy field. Kirienko briefed the king about Russia's support in generating electricity by using nuclear power, noting that the site of Amra, which was chosen for building the reactor, is in line with the highest technical and environmental standards. He said that the nuclear reactor was designed to achieve the higher degree of public safety at the facility, noting that the nuclear waste from the plant will return to Russia and will not remain in Jordan as one of the options available to the government of Jordan in the future. Prime Minister Abdullah Mansour also met with head of Rosatom Corporation. They discussed the agreement signed yesterday as well as the project site, price of electricity and funding mechanism. Mansour stressed the importance of abiding by the highest security and safety measures in the project. Kirienko said the plant will employ top-of-the-line nuclear technology and can handle earthquakes. The Russian company will construct 2 nuclear power reactors with a total capacity of 2,000 megawatts and at a total cost of $10 billion. Yemeni President Abd Rabbo Mansour Hadi remains in Aden despite a rapid advance on the southern city by Houthi forces seeking his overthrow. Aides said Hadi moved from the compound to another presidential palace on the other side of the city in the afternoon. However, it has not been confirmed. Hadi has vowed to check the Houthi push south and called for Arab military support. Earlier, troops loyal to Yemen's ex-president Ali Abdullah Saleh, an ally of the powerful Houthi militia, captured Aden airport from forces loyal to President Hadi. In response, hundreds of activists took to the streets of Taiz to carry out another day of demonstrations against last weekend's seizure of the city by Houthi rebels. Iraq's President Fuad Massoum said the U.S.-led coalition will soon carry out airstrikes against the Daesh terrorist group in the city of Tikrit after starting aerial reconnaissance flights this weekend. The 3-week offensive by Iraqi government forces and Iranian-backed Shiite parliamentarians has failed to flush out Daesh terrorists from Tikrit. Massoum said that since yesterday, aerial support and reconnaissance flights started in Tikrit, adding that the Iraqi government had decided to ask for the U.S.-led alliance air support in the battle. Iraqi military commanders had asked for airstrikes, while the Iranian-backed Shiite militias had publicly rejected the U.S. role in the campaign to retake the jihadist bastion. Rebels have seized a historic town in southern Syria from the government, part of a counterattack rebels say they are waging to stop Damascus reclaiming the border zone near Israel and Jordan. A Syrian military source says there had been heavy fighting with armed groups yesterday in and around Busra, a Sham whose ancient city is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 21 insurgents had been killed in 4 days of fighting, some 20 kilometers north of the border from Jordan. Heavy clashes were also reported in northwest Syria, where hardline Islamists, including the Nusra Front and Ahrar al-Sham, launched an offensive to take the city of Idlib. Palestinian Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah arrived in the Gaza Strip for a 3-day visit. Dozens of security personnel were out in force to protect Hamdallah, who was received by a police guard of honor at the Erez crossing. Hamdallah is due to meet with delegates and officials from Hamas, calling for unity between the Palestinian factions. Palestinian parties Hamas in Gaza and Fatah in West Bank agreed on a unity government in September 2014.
To our people on the Gaza Strip, I say that we will never accept to separate Gaza or isolate it. Gaza will always be a part of our independent state, a united Palestinian state on the land that was occupied in the year 1967, and Jerusalem will be our eternal capital.
Her Majesty Queen Rania Al Abdullah met today with a group of global journalists and social media representatives. The group is visiting Jordan on a mega press trip hosted by the Ministry of Tourism in coordination with the Jordan Tourism Board at the Royal Automobile Museum. Her Majesty addressed the group, noting that Jordan has much to offer visitors in terms of history, culture, nature, adventure, health and wellness, and religious tourism. She spoke about Jordanian hospitality and the warmth of its people, and highlighted that travelers are the best ambassadors for tolerance and that they can help challenge stereotypes of Arabs and Muslims, especially during current times. Amir Group, the company that owns the Porto Dead Sea project, signed an agreement with the Habash Deir Contracting Company to start the implementation of the project following the completion of the excavation work at the site. The project is located on a land area of 800,000 square meters on the coast of the Dead Sea, and it is the first city on the Dead Sea Mountains. It consists of 4 5-star hotels, international health and spa center, 3 malls, medical, and 11,000 served apartments. The project will participate in developing the Dead Sea area and increasing the hotel capacity in Jordan by 25%.
In this special occasion, we're announcing the complete excavation of phase 1. So we've excavated over 800,000 cubic meters in this phase. It was very tough, and then we're signing today the contractor agreement for phase 1, and we're also announcing that we're going to open a quick phase within 6 months, so every Jordanian family can spend amazing days and nights in our destinations. Porto Dead Sea is a huge investment which we are proud to be doing in Jordan. It costs around 750 million JD. Phase 1 alone will cost 150 million JD.
Investigators have retrieved cockpit voice recordings from one of the black boxes of the German Airbus plane that smashed into the Alps, killing everyone on board yesterday, and they expect a preliminary readout of their contents in the coming days. French President François Hollande was joined by Germany's Angela Merkel and Spain's Mariano Rajoy to pay their respect to the victims and to meet search teams at their base in a nearby village. More in this report.
French President François Hollande and German Chancellor Angela Merkel arrived together at this remote Alpine region on Wednesday. The leaders met with teams of investigators near the mountain ravine where Germanwings airliner crashed on Tuesday en route from Barcelona to Dusseldorf, killing all 150 people on board, the great majority of them Germans and Spaniards. Spain's Mariano Rajoy joined them in the village of Seine-les-Alpes, where French investigators have set up headquarters for search operations. The 3 leaders thanked search teams and were due to meet families of victims of the still unexplained crash. A source familiar with recovery efforts says one of the plane's 2 black boxes that was found hours after the crash is a cockpit voice recorder. The fate of a separate flight data recorder was not immediately clear. A preliminary report may take months, but investigations like this usually take a year or more to run their course. Meanwhile, in the small mountain village of Le Vernet, police and rescue workers prepare to welcome relatives of the victims. French, German, and Spanish flags have been tied with black ribbons ahead of an international tribute to the victims. But getting their loved ones back home won't happen right away for everyone. French police at the crash site say it'll take days to recover the bodies because of the difficult mountain terrain, snow, and incoming storms.
Chilean authorities declared a red alert in Chile's northern region, where intense rainfall this week has caused flooding, blocked roads, and the suspension of schools. Chile's Deputy Interior Secretary told local media dozens have been affected and taken to shelters, several homes have been destroyed, and 80,000 homes have been left without electricity. He also said drinking water has become contaminated in stricken areas. Also, a river burst its bank at several points and flooded much of the city, including a hospital. The weather phenomena was caused by a mass of cold air in the central northern area of the country, and looks like it's going to be even more bleak, with more bad weather expected to continue. A deflated football for $16,000 US, a broken computer with wires showing $60,000, an old stained backpack for $8,000. The items on display may not actually be for sale in the luxury shopping mall in Rio de Janeiro, but the prices reflect the environmental cost of waste thrown into the city's bay. The One Less Piece of Rubbish project director, Fernanda Cortez, explained the exhibition seeks to personalize the pollution of the bay to force people to take responsibility for the waste that is thrown into the water. As part of its Olympic bid, Rio promised to clean up 80% of the bay in time for the Games in 2016, but local government officials have already admitted this goal is no longer achievable. Fourth stop of the season, 37 free-ride competitors arrived at the top of the venue, a 750-meter steep slope above Haines in Alaska at a height of 2,500 meters above sea level. Lifted by helicopter, the competitors skied or rode down the rocky face of the slope. Men's ski winner was George Rodney, with Sammy Lubeck winning the snowboard contest. Women's ski winner was Sylvia Mosser, and Shannon Yates won the snowboard category. Four boats in the Volvo Ocean Race fleet keeled over in the Southern Ocean as the fleet experienced its roughest conditions since the event started last October. The all-women's crew of teams Sweden, China, and Spain all suffered when the boats briefly tipped on their sides during 12 hours of drama as they headed towards Cape Horn. Another competitor, Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing, also endured a drama-filled night, reporting a massive wipeout. No injuries from any of the crew were reported, although the boats were assessed for damage. And finally, cold weather across most regions tonight, with partly cloudy skies and northwesterly moderate winds. Tomorrow, moderate conditions prevail in most regions, but it will be warm in the Jordan Valley and northeasterly moderate to brisk winds. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect warm conditions tonight, with northerly moderate to brisk winds and slightly choppy seas. Next are the lows and highs for tonight and tomorrow. To end the news, here's a reminder of our top stories. His Majesty stresses the importance of promoting cooperation between Jordan's Atomic Energy Commission and the Russian corporation that will build and operate Jordan's first nuclear power plant. Houthi militia forces backed by allied army units seized an airbase and appeared close to capturing the southern port of Aden from defenders loyal to President Abd Rabbo Mansour Hadi. And investigators retrieved cockpit voice recordings from one of the black boxes of the German Airbus plane that smashed into the Alps, killing everyone on board. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching and have a good night.